Good morning, everyone. Today is a little bit overcast, and I'd like to welcome you to our backyard. I'm going to do my first garden tour to give you guys a little insight to what's been going on. So I hope you enjoy and follow along. We'll start here on the back deck. This is my first time growing things hydroponically. As you can see on the table, there's a few that I started inside that grew so fast and so well that I had to sort of repot them into a little bit bigger containers, but they're just in nutrient solution and growing. And as you can see from the lettuce that's growing in my rail system on the back wall there, they just took over. I mean, we've been eating lettuce now for the past 2 weeks, and it's delicious, and it grows so dang fast. And look how green and beautiful it is. So if you notice on the bottom rails, those are the big heads. The third rail up is a new crop of lettuce that I just started 2 weeks ago, and I'll give you a little close-up of that in a minute. And then on the very top rail is my strawberries that I planted 4 days ago, and they're going gangbusters. So because things have been growing so well hydroponically, and it's so easy and so much fun, we added a second rail system over here that Brian built for me. So I will start over here. Again, you'll see there are some tomatoes that I've been growing from seeds that have sprouted up. So those are all San Marzano tomato sauce tomatoes that I can't wait to get. And there's some, let's see, there's some basil growing there, the little ones that really you can't see too much. I don't know if I can show you from a close-up here, but those are some basils that I've just started. They're just starting to grow. And then the bottom rail here, I'm leaving for right now because we're going to plant some more spinach there. So that's pretty much what's growing on the deck hydroponically. And yeah, this is so much fun. It is so much easier to grow things like tomatoes and strawberries and any leafy greens. Lettuces. Actually, I'll walk you down this side of the deck. So stay with me here, people. This sort of nasty space here is going to get cleaned up in the next couple of days. And actually, those tomatoes that are up on the deck are going to be put in buckets over there. So yeah, more to come. Stay tuned in our next garden tour, and we'll show you more of what's going on. So again, we here at our backyard have 2 acres. So the 1 acre to the side of my house here has been completely open for the past 25 or 30 odd years that we've been living here. This is our junk pile back here, but if you look underneath the window and look closely, you'll see the hoops to my new greenhouse that'll be going up. So a lot of this wood and things that have been scavenged here, that'll all be a new greenhouse very shortly. So stay tuned. That's the end of the summer project. But Mr. Black got a little bit carried away this year, so he decided that we needed corn. So I went ahead and I planted, I don't know, I think there's about 30 or 40 corn stalks there that I planted early and was planning to put in a raised bed, but Mr. Black got a little carried away. So we now have 2 beds that are 75 feet long. The first bed is planted. The second bed, thank God it's a little overcast today. I'm going to start planting that second bed. And we have a third bed that's going to be tilled up. Now, after tilling soil and dealing with weeds, I haven't been a big fan of doing this, but Mr. Black says we need more corn. So this is Mr. Black's experiment over there. So yeah, that's been happening. I'll pan around to the backyard and our ugly burn barrel. But let's see what else has been going on here. So I love the UK, and as I mentioned in earlier videos, let's see, I'm getting used to this camera majiggy thing here. I love UK cottage gardens, and I was really hoping to make a trip to the UK this year. And now I'm not really sure with the COVID virus if that's going to happen. So I went a little mad and I planted myself an English style cottage garden. Yeah, so this is a lot of these things were in other parts of the yard, and I decided to just sort of reuse them. Let me see if I can adjust the camera here a little bit. So I've replanted, and I've got a few more things. We've got poppies and iris and bunnytail fountain grass. That's that red plant back there. That'll get huge by the end of the summer, hopefully. We've got some pink hydrangeas, irises, peonies, geranium, salvia. There's some roses back there that I transplanted that look a little sad, so I'm giving them a few more days if they don't come back around. That's actually an old rose bush from Brian's grandmother's farmstead that's over 100 years old. We got that in Iowa, and there's bits of it all over the yard. So if that one doesn't take, I'm not too concerned. We have plenty of that I can transplant that with. I transplanted things a little early, so mine have jumped the gun. That might got a little frost shock, but no worries. I've got plenty more of it in the front yard. And let's see, there's echinacea, there's coreopsis, again, more lilies, delphiniums, another hydrangea, and a poppy that I had a transplant that is a beautiful, you can see it there on the end, pink poppy with a purple velvety inside to it. But that's okay. It's sending up shoots, so it's telling me it's going to be okay, but it may just take a little bit of time for it to come back to us, but we'll be okay. And then let's see. Over here is oops, let me get this adjusted for you. Sorry, people, I'm new with using this new system here on my camera, so bear with me. This is our raised bed for tomatoes. I'm still putting compost into it. These are all our no-dig beds that I've been working on. So let's see here. Why isn't it not focusing? There we go. So basically building the no-dig beds is brilliant, and it saves so much on weeds, you won't believe it. But basically we put down cardboard. Mr. Black works at a body shop, so we can get huge bits of you can see that big box back there is I think a fender box. So they're huge pieces of cardboard, which makes it really easy to spread down. But yeah, we're putting in, that's a tomato bed. And we're putting up cattle panel trellises, so I wanted those to go in before I transplant the tomatoes, but that's okay. My dining room is full of tomatoes. Now, this garden, again, we slapped together during the quarantine, so it was not really well planned, but it's actually coming together pretty good. Let's see. Over here is my herb garden, which I've just started. I planted a lot of these things separately, separately in pots. And they're all starting to come up. We've got, let's see, basil, chives, chamomile for tea, sage, thyme, oregano, mint, and parsley. So I know a lot of herbs, like especially the mints and the chamomile, can just go crazy and take over your garden. So, and I'm eventually going to redo this area back here to make it a much nicer herb garden, but that wasn't mission critical right now. So I just put them in these pots, and so far so good. You know, things are coming up, but it's mobile, so I can move it as I see fit. Now let's see if we can pan over here. And here's the rest of the garden. Let me pan down a little bit. Whoops, sorry here, people, getting used to this. Those are my blueberry bushes. Basically, the blueberry bushes was the only thing that was here as of a few weeks ago. They've been here for about 6-7 years, along with, you'll see, whoops, sorry, I'm getting used to this thing. There's two apple trees and a peach tree in the way back there. Those were the only things that were here a month ago. So this is a lot of work that's been happening in a pretty short amount of time. So let's pan up a little bit so I can walk and talk, hopefully, and chew gum at the same time here. So this box was my act of desperation. when I went to the grocery store during the virus, the first week of the virus, and I found out that there was 4 onions. I went and I grabbed an Amazon box that we had in the garage, and I planted carrots. And you can see they're all coming up brilliantly. So yeah, you can plant in just about anything. So those are all my carrots growing. And those 2 blue containers that are over there to the side, those are also carrots, but they're just sprouting. Like there's really not much in them just yet. You can basically see a little green fringe. That's more carrots coming up. Let's see, the bed that's in the back there, far back, that's watermelons for my grandson. The other bed that's back there is cantaloupes, and the far back bed over there is potatoes and cantaloupes. And here's my first no-dig bed that I put in. You'll see onions, peppers, my peas. Can you see my peas? Like, my peas make me happy. They were the one thing that was giving me hope through all of this. Look at how they keep reaching up. I just love how peas grow. And there's some radishes there that are off to the side. So let's see. We have some tomato plants in there. And then on the other side of this trellis, we've got more peas. And there are, let's see. I'll walk through the trellis here. First of all, I just love this trellis. So it's fantastic. These are cattle panels that you get from Tractor Supply, and they're put up with metal posts, and then the trellises are just bent between 2 of the no-dig beds. But it's a great way to grow vertically. You can get a lot of produce in a short amount of space. So I just love how these grow. So again, there's peas on both sides, you'll see. But over on this side, let's see if I can get it. Down here those are what's called cucamelons. They're sour Mexican cucumbers. They look like little tiny baby watermelons. And I'm trying them for the first time, but they're coming up pretty well. And then at the back will be noodle beans. So those will be coming up. And as I mentioned to you in my original video, I love to, a lot of times when I was traveling and when I do travel, I like to collect recipes, and I love Mexican food. So I opened up a container of black beans and sprouted black beans. So all those plants down the middle are black bean plants. And there's garlic, and let's see, in the corners of this garden I planted myself some flowers, because I know you can't really eat them, but I do enjoy flowers. And then again, in my second act of desperation, you know, when you're thinking about growing a garden and you're thinking about, you know, what you can grow quickly and easily and sustainability, carrots and potatoes are 2 things that, onions, garlic are things we use a lot. So these are just leftover barrels from when Brian used to raise tropical fish. And you can see I planted potatoes all the way down. So all of these are potatoes that will be coming up shortly in the next few weeks. Some have started sprouting, some I just planted recently. So yeah, that's sort of a look at our garden. You can get a better look at the apple trees back here. And again, the peach tree, there's another apple tree back there, and the peach tree is hidden. So yeah, welcome to our backyard, and that's what we've been up to. That's what's been keeping us busy during the virus. So yeah, there'll be hopefully you'll see a hoop house here by the end of the summer. At least that's what the plan is. And I'll do updates like this from time to time so you can see what's going on here. So that's all I have for right now. I hope you enjoyed it, and bye for now.